Let's do some politics now. The national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, has labeled the Akufo-Addo administration as insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. He said everything points to the fact that government has stopped thinking, resulting in unforeseen hardship in the country. According to him, the blame on the COVID-19 pandemic for the current hardship is untenable. Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo said these in an exclusive interview with John News.
In a situation like this, first of all, you need to assure the people that you are sensitive to their plight and their demand. So you come in with measures that will let the people realize you are thinking about them. You have students going to school, you have workers going to work day in and day out. For instance, in situations like this, you can quickly get high occupant buses. You can provide buses for students. You can say that, look, workers will pay something and join buses to work to and from. If you have a coupon, say 100 Ghana cedis, and you are a student and you are from Legon, come to the circle, go to Accra, join the bus, pay 100 cedis a month. And I've been told that in Germany they are paying about 9 euros, and then you can join the, and then you bring in buses. There is a rail line between Tema and Accra, between Nsaoma and Accra. You rehabilitate it, you put more coaches there. Every 30 minutes or every 1 hour, coach is running, taking workers, but
all of that is extra cost to the state. At this point, the state also needs to generate revenue. So finding the balance is really the challenge.
The fact of the matter is that first you must be sensitive to the plight of the people. You are there to govern the people. And so sometimes the state ought to show sensitivity to the people. That is why in situations like this, workers are calling for COLA, cost of living allowance. You see, when you are increasing salary by 7% and fuel prices are shooting the roof, how do you expect workers to survive? How do you expect students to survive? How do you expect the ordinary people to survive? So you then come in and say that, look, I am cutting down on this expenditure, I'm cutting down on this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing these savings to support the vulnerable and the poor in the society. That is how government should respond when we are in crisis like this. But you are not doing that. You are still using long convoys of 30 to 20, four-way drives. You are still putting a chair in a four-way drive and putting fuel in it. I mean, you must show and demonstrate practically that you are empathizing with the people. The suffering masses, you are empathizing with them. So you are coming out of palliative measures that will reduce the sufferings that the Ghanaian people are.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
one can say that this government is not showing anything at all, and everybody is blaming COVID. Now COVID is no longer there. I mean, indeed, even in the situation of COVID, we are rather paying instead of getting alleviation from the COVID. We are paying for COVID now on the fuel prices that we are paying. We are paying for COVID tax on fuel. We are paying COVID levy on. Why should we pay COVID levy on fuel now? When, I mean, COVID has rather brought a lot of hardships on us.
Well, government spends during the time, and so it needs to recoup the money. That's the argument.
What did government spend on me?
Free water, free electricity.
I didn't enjoy any free water.
Well, but the masses, it was privileged people like you may not have experienced. But free electricity, I'm sure you enjoyed.
Which masses enjoyed free water and free electricity? Which masses? We are paying it, and we are paying even more now.
Let's wrap up on the economy by just rating the effort of government for me on a scale of 1 to 10.
For me, I think the government has stopped thinking. The government has simply stopped thinking because they seem to have thrown their hands in despair and have put the country on autopilot. And so when they get up, and then whatever the dollar CD is responding to the dollar, they just get up and then they increase price of fuel. They must find a solution. That is why government is put in place. And so I think that the government has stopped thinking and they are not working. So
now, Ofosu-Ampofo also refuted claims that the party is remote controlling their side of parliament.
I think that we have rather given our members of parliament the latitude to operate and take decisions that are in the best interest of the party. This parliament has been there, the leadership have been there for long. They know their left from their right. They do not rely on the party whip to do their work. They rely on the whip system in parliament to do their own work. And I don't think for a moment that the party has been breathing on them to do what is expected of them. They know what is right and they are doing what is exactly right. What I will say is that in a hung parliament, the expectation is that the posture of the government party or the government side in parliament must change. It must be one of more of reconciliation and consensus. And once that approach is exhibited by the government side, I think there will be a reciprocal approach by that of the opposition side.
Have you engaged your members to adapt a very reconciliatory, compromising approach in order to get Ghanaian business?
Well, we have always said that. When e-levy came, for instance, we said that if they had engaged, you see, because what you do is that when you are doing policy formulation, one of the things that you do is stakeholder engagement. And one of the major stakeholders are parliamentarians, because the bill will end up in parliament. So you engage the other side, especially when you have a hung parliament. You engage the other side and try and get their buy-in, even before you initiate the policy. But if you ignore them and you say that, look, you can go to her, we want to do this and we'll be on our own, and when you finish and you come, whether you like it or not, you will pass it. Well, that you have to blame yourself for the posture that you took from the beginning. So they are in government. Most of the businesses that come to parliament are government business. And the expectation is that they must change their posture. They must try as much as possible to reach out to the other side of the divide and build consensus. And I believe that in parliament, I think that they build consensus on most of the issues, rather than the acrimony that you see. But sometimes it's only when there is disagreement that makes news. But when they agree on things, it doesn't make news. But if you take your time to analyze, issues that are placed before parliament, you realize that the ones that they agree on consensus are more than the ones that they split hairs on.